All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a poem that honestly captures a feeling I think we can all relate to, that special kind of magic on a rainy day. We're unpacking Rain on the Roof by Coates Kinney. Now, if you're a class 9 student, this is definitely for you, but really, it's for anyone who's ever just, found some comfort in the sound of rain. So let's get right into it. So, let me just start by asking you something. Why is the sound of rain so special? I mean, there's something kind of magical about it, right? It can make you feel all cozy, maybe a little nostalgic, or even bring back this whole flood of memories. Well, that feeling is exactly what this poem is all about. Okay, so the poem kicks off with these just incredibly atmospheric lines. The poet immediately paints this picture of a dark, rainy night. I mean, you can almost feel it, can't you? The stars are all hidden, the air is thick with moisture. Let's break down exactly how he builds this scene in the first stanza. All right, so this first part is all about setting the scene and showing us the, surprising comfort the poet finds on what seems like a pretty gloomy night. So right away, we get this phrase, humid shadows, which is just such a beautiful way to talk about those heavy, moisture-filled clouds, isn't it? He's saying they're so thick, they've completely covered up the starry spheres, creating this kind of blanket of darkness across the whole sky. And check this out. The poet uses a really cool literary device here. It's called personification. He calls the darkness melancholy, which just means sad, and says it gently weeps in rainy tears. It's like the sky itself is crying. It's such a powerful, kind of gloomy image, and it sets a very specific mood right from the start. But here's the twist. Even with this sad, weeping sky outside, the poet feels something totally different. He feels bliss. And bliss isn't just happy, it's like perfect, total joy. So, what's going on here? Why this massive contrast? Why is he so joyful when the world outside seems so sad? Well, the answer is right there in that contrast. While the night is dark and weeping outside, he is safe and snug inside his little cottage bed. For him, just listening to the patter, that soft, gentle tapping of the rain on his roof, that simple thing is a source of pure, unadulterated joy and comfort. Okay, so let's move on to the second stanza, because this is where things get even more interesting. The poet starts taking us from the physical feeling of hearing the rain to the emotional and mental journey it sparks deep inside him. Just listen to these lines. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart. Wow. What the poet is saying here is that this sound, it's not just something he's hearing with his ears. No, it's something he's feeling deep, deep inside. So the shingles, that's just a word for the tiles on the roof. And he says every tinkle, every little light ringing sound a raindrop makes, it creates a matching beat, an echo, right in his heart. It's such a powerful metaphor for how connected he feels to the rhythm of the rain. And this is basically how it works. This is the core of the whole stanza. First, the sound triggers a feeling, right? And that unlocks his imagination. And notice, it's not just one thing. The rain starts 1,000 dreamy fancies, which are like new ideas, and at the same time, it brings back 1,000 recollections, which are old memories. It's both happening at once. Now, to describe all this happening in his mind, the poet uses this really cool kind of complex metaphor. He says these memories weave their air threads into woof. Okay, so in weaving, the woof is the set of threads that goes across, the one that pulls it all together to make the fabric. So what he's saying is that all these thoughts, the new dreams and the old memories, they're all being woven together inside his mind, creating this rich, beautiful tapestry, all thanks to the sound of the rain. And that brings us to the third and final stanza. This is where that whole tapestry of memories, it focuses in on one single incredibly powerful recollection that really becomes the emotional heart of the entire poem. And here it is. The sound of the rain brings back the memory of his mother. He remembers her from years ago, years ago, back when she used to watch over him and his siblings while they were sleeping. This is where the poem gets really, really personal. See, it's not stated directly, but the way he talks in the past tense, it strongly suggests that his mother isn't with him anymore. And that makes this memory so incredibly bittersweet. The rain suddenly isn't just a sound, it's like a bridge connecting him to a loved one he's lost. He remembers being one of the darling dreamers, and he can almost see his mother looking down on them with so much love. And that line, ere she left them till the dawn, it suggests she'd watch over them for a while before quietly leaving as morning approached.
It's just a memory filled with so much warmth and that amazing feeling of being safe and protected.
So, as he's lying there, listening to the refrain of the rain, that steady, repeating sound, he says he can actually feel her fond look on him again. It's like the rhythm of the rain connects him directly back to that feeling of his mother's love, making the memory feel so incredibly real, so present. So, wow, from a cozy bed to this powerful, cherished memory, this poem really takes us on a journey. Now that we've gone through it stanza by stanza, let's kind of zoom out and pull together the central ideas that hold the whole thing together. Okay, so there are really four main themes to keep in mind. First, you've got the healing power of nature. Second, that super powerful link between a sound and a memory. Third is the bittersweet comfort we get from nostalgia. And finally, just the sheer beauty of finding joy in simple, quiet moments. I mean, at its core, the poem just shows us how a totally ordinary experience can become something truly extraordinary. Okay, now for all you students out there, this next part is especially for you. Listen up. If you really want to level up your exam answers, using specific vocabulary from the poem is absolutely key. Think of these as weightage words. You know, the words that carry more weight and show that you're paying super close attention. Using them can really make your analysis pop. Let's quickly go over a few of the big ones. Using a word like patter is so much more descriptive than just saying the sound of the rain. Shingles is the exact word for the roof tiles. It shows you know what you're talking about. Tinkle captures that light, almost musical quality of the sound. And refrain is just perfect, because it suggests this repeated, almost chorus-like sound, which of course is what triggers that repeating memory of his mother. See how that works? So my advice here is really simple. Actually use these words. Weave them into your answers. When you do that, you're showing the examiner that you've gone beyond just the basic plot and that you really appreciate the poet's specific choices and the beautiful effects he creates with his language. And that just about wraps up our look at this beautiful poem. It really shows how a simple, everyday sound can unlock an entire world of feelings and memories. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What sound out there connects you to a special memory? Thanks so much for joining me.